Imagine finding a burger place that you really like, only you come to discover later on that you were actually eating human meat the whole time. That is what happened to the customers of Joe Methany's burger stand. On this Murder and Madness edition of GKB, we are going to be talking about Joe's murders, his motive, and of course, his murder burgers. Let's do this. Our story begins in Baltimore, Maryland in 1994. When Big Joe Methany is 39. Now, why do we call him Big Joe? Well, because he stood 6 foot tall, 450 pounds. He got that sumo body, baby. They actually called him Tiny, because he's big, so they call him Tiny, LOL, whatever. So, up until this point in Joe's life, he has had a life full of drugs and crime, not really living on the straight and narrow, but now he's actually doing pretty well for himself. He has a girlfriend, he has a son, he's still doing drugs, but he is known as a dependable truck driver. But everything changed one night when Joe comes home to find his girlfriend, his 6-year-old son, and everything in the house gone. He doesn't know what to think. Obviously, he's pissed, he's upset, and he starts to do some digging around Baltimore. And around 6 months later, he finds out that his woman ran away across town with the son with another man. And they have been doing drugs under a bridge, and they actually got his son taken away. Big Joe was big mad. He wasn't mad that his girlfriend ran away. He was mad that she took the son. He said that she should have just left him at his mom's house, so when he came home, he could have grabbed him and went on with his life. He really didn't care about his girlfriend at all. But now he is pissed and he wants revenge. So Joe starts going around the drug scene and the homeless scene in Baltimore. He knows a lot of people there, and he starts to do investigating, trying to find out where this couple is and where to get them. He goes to the bridge that he finds out that they have been doing drugs and living under, but he doesn't find the couple. What he does find is 2 homeless men. So he starts hanging out with these guys, trying to get any information on their whereabouts, but the guys say they don't know anything, and Joe is not taking that well at all. So what does he do? He grabs an axe from his car and chops the guys up on a mattress. Chops them up and leaves them there. He leaves the bridge and finds another woman walking around, lures her under the bridge. He tries to find some information out from her. She don't know nothing, so he ends up beating her to death. He then goes out from under the bridge again, finds another woman, and beats her to death. Now he got 4 bodies on his hands already, and when he looks down, he sees a fisherman looking up at him. And he's like, well, he might have seen something, so he gotta die. Joe grabs a steel pipe, walks down there, and bang! Busts the guy right on top of the skull, killing him. He takes the 2 women and the fisherman that he just killed, ties some rocks to him, and throws them in the river. He tries to clean up the crime scene a little bit, but then he finds people are walking by, people are coming, so he decides to get the hell out of there. About 2.5 weeks later, though, the police come and arrest Joe for the murder of the 2 homeless men. They don't know anything about the other 3 bodies. Joe ends up sitting in jail for about 1.5 years. It goes to trial, but he ends up getting out because there is no evidence tying him to the murders. Now Joe is free, but he had some time to really think while he was in jail. And what do you think he was thinking about? You think he was thinking, oh, that was kind of crazy that I went out and had a murder spree over this broad taking away my kid? No, he was thinking, you know what? The first killings were a crime of passion, but now I really love killing. He thought about how good it felt to kill. He found his passion, and when he got out of jail, that's exactly what he did. He got a job at a pallet company. He ended up getting a trailer on the yard of that pallet company, and he lured 2 women to his trailer, did some drugs with them, and ended up killing them and burying them in the pallet yard. A little side note here, this is not in Joe's confession, but they say that one night Joe dug up one of these bodies, had sex with it, took the head off, and threw it in the freaking garbage.
That's nasty.
Like, what the hell? But before he buried them, he sliced the meat off of their bones, put them in Tupperwares, put them in the freezer, and then he decided to become an entrepreneur and open up a roadside sandwich stand. And that is when he started mixing the human meat with the pork, with the beef, and selling them to the community. And from what he says, or from what I read, people were digging him. Let me not forget to mention that he also ate some of the women himself, and he said human meat tastes like pork and it mixes in well with the meat, so you don't even know. I'm glad that, I don't know if this has ever happened to me. I don't think so, but I'm glad this has never happened to me, because I'm the kind of person that if I really, really like a place, I'll eat there like 3 to 4 times a week, spending all kinds of money eating there over and over again. So I would have eaten a lot of human meat, maybe even half a body myself. I don't know if the Caribbean place down the street is doing that, but let me tell you, if they are, I probably ate a whole body already. So people are consuming this meat, and he eventually runs out. Business is going well. And what happens when the meat runs out? Well, you gotta re-up. So he lures another woman into his trailer. Now, he decides that he's going to rape her, like he did with some of the other women, actually. But things don't really go to plan, because he starts beating her down, taking her clothes off, and Joe turns around for one split second, and she runs out of the trailer. Good for you. You go, girl. She got the hell up out of there. Thank God. Joe is quoted as saying, "That bitch scaled those pallets like a monkey and jumped over the fence. She got over and she ended up jumping into a truck that was driving by, and she got away, baby." Joe knew he was done right then and there, so he ended up just waiting for the cops to come. And so they did. They took him to jail, and he confessed to all of his murders. Joe really just put it all out there. He didn't care. He didn't fight it at all. So he went to trial and was eventually sentenced to death. This is what Joe is quoted as saying in court. "The words 'I'm sorry' will never come out, for they would be a lie. I am more than willing to give up my life for what I've done, to have God judge me and send me to hell for eternity." So he was fine with it. He didn't care. He got sentenced to death, and he was happy with it. But the judge ended up reversing the decision and giving him double life. And that's where he spent his days until Big Joe was found dead in his cell. And there's really no word on how he died. They just say he died. To end this story now, let's hear more of Joe's prophetic words. "The only thing I feel bad about in any of this is I didn't get to murder the 2 motherfuckers I was really after, and that's my ex-old lady and the bastard she got hooked up with. Well, that's my story. Horrible, but true. So the next time you're riding down the road and you happen to see an open pit beef stand that you've never seen before, make sure you think about this story before you take a bite of that sandwich. Sometimes you never know who you may be eating."
That's nasty.
Yeah. So there is the story of Joe Methany. That's disgusting. It's horrible. Wow. One of the most interesting murder stories I've ever heard, honestly. The one that really sticks in my memory the most, besides the one where the guy cut off the other man's head on the Greyhound bus going into Canada. That one sticks in my head the most from a child. But next to that, it's this one. Let me know what you thought about that story below in the comment section if you're watching this on YouTube. Before we go, we got to talk about 2 other things. Let me put you up on a show that I just found out about. You are probably going to like this. It is called Homicide on the Holidays. It is a show on Peacock where they talk about different types of murders that happened on holidays. So maybe it's Christmas, maybe it's Halloween, they got Thanksgiving, and each episode goes through a murder that happened on a holiday. The episode I was watching yesterday, I didn't get to finish it, but somebody came in on Christmas Eve and slaughtered a family of 6. It was horrible. It was, just wow. They show you pictures. If you're into murder, you're going to like that show. Nothing says happy holidays like somebody getting beat, strangled, stabbed, and murdered. Also, let's talk about this trailer for The Mean One movie. I don't know if you've seen this, but The Mean One is a new movie that I think it's out right now about the Grinch. It is not a Disney movie or whoever owns the Grinch. It's an independent movie, and the story looks like it goes something like this, where Cindy, who actually they call her Cindy You-Know-Who in the movie, is a little girl when her mother is murdered on Christmas, I believe, by the Mean One, aka the Grinch. She survives, looks like her dad survives, and a bunch of years later, her and her dad end up going back to the town that the murder happened in. Everybody's talking about the Mean One, that he's out there, blah, blah, blah. He ends up coming back and killing people. But it looks like Cindy Who goes Laurie Strode. She has enough, and she starts fighting back. She has like a bat with Christmas lights. She has a shotgun painted as a candy cane. She got grenades. People got snipers, and they're ready to take out the Mean One. And honestly, I am very excited for this movie. Hopefully, I get to see it before the next show or before the holiday season is over, because I'm very excited to watch this and talk about it with you. This looks awesome. It's obviously a cheesy movie, but it's going to be a lot of fun. The Grinch looks great. It looks like they spent a lot of money on the effects for him, on the prosthetics or whatever. It looks like it's actually the guy who played Art the Clown. I've never seen any of the Terrifier movies. I heard Terrifier 2 was great, but the same guy that plays Art the Clown is playing the Grinch. So a little fun fact for you right there. If you've already seen the movie, let me know what you think about it in the comments. So there you have it. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you hit us up on the Gritty Knows Best Instagram. Tell us what's on your mind. If you're not watching this on YouTube right now, go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/GKBPOD. You're not only going to find podcasts there, but you'll find some extra videos that we put out. So go watch them. There we have it. Peace and love. See you next time.